Yeah, it's still
It's definitely not It's definitely not
I can see it.
Trying to get my screen to show up here. The only thing it's showing is my home screen, but not what the actual presentation is. That's the only thing it's just.
So there's now GPS, you can touch the map. Yeah.
Oh, absolutely.
press.
Good evening, everyone. Welcome. We have a great agenda tonight. Welcome to the Tuesday, April 6, 2021 Madison City Council meeting. We'll start by standing, removing our hats, and bowing our heads, reciting the Lord's Prayer, followed by the Pledge of Allegiance. Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done, on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread. Forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. Lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. For thine is the kingdom, the power, and the glory forever. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, thank you. Look, may we have a roll call?
Kavanaugh. Here. Creech.
Here.
Lucy Dattilo.
Here.
Rampy.
Here.
Chatham. Here. Bartlett.
Here.
Dan Dattilo.
Here.
Council, have you had an opportunity to review the minutes, and if there are no modifications or amendments, we'll accept a motion to approve the minutes for March 16, 2020. Hopefully we won't have any volume issues.
I move to approve the minutes from the March 16th meeting.
I'll second that.
Any discussion? All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. I'd like to invite Mr. Mahoney up to introduce his class. And we have a great presentation tonight, very, very important for our community. Kenton, welcome.
So thank you. Excited to be here tonight, and I know these folks back here are also excited to be here. Just hold it. I'm gonna say, well, again, thank you.
You'll stay on if you.
Okay, perfect. Thank you. I know these guys are excited. This is the Madison Junior High School Future Problem Solvers. I'm going to go ahead and invite them up here and let them get set up. The great part, they have put this together. One of the things we're doing with this academic team is trying to influence the community and trying to do something with the community. They have already completed part of their future problem solving goals, but I'm going to let them talk about that a little bit more and go ahead and turn it over to them.
Would you like to introduce the students, please?
I will let them speak for themselves.
Okay.
Do they need to come up here?
Nope, you can do it there if you like.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Hi, I'm Tavian Bauer. Hi, I'm Benjamin Copeland. Hello, I'm Annalise Rooney. Hi, I'm Wyatt Overpeck. Hi, I'm William Overpeck. Hi, I'm Charles Schwartz. We are the Madison Junior High Future Problem Solvers academic team. We are tasked with solving problems that could potentially occur 20 to 30 years in the future. There are two branches of problem solving that we are tasked with, community and global. We are the reigning state champions of global future problem solvers, and now we will show you our plan for the community. Charles will introduce you to what Pollution Awareness Week is.
Pollution Awareness Week is the week of Earth Day, which in 2021 is the 18th to the 25th of April. Pollution Awareness Week is a time to pick up trash and garbage in your town. It is also a week to acknowledge the amount of garbage in the community that isn't unacceptable.
I will talk to you about how we will act. We will speak to the community and Madison schools about Pollution Awareness Week. We will post a plan on social media at #Paul and #CleanSafeBeautiful. We will create a slideshow like this one to present to schools and community members. We have also created a Paul pledge that citizens can recite.
I will tell you how the community can act. community can act by picking up trash around their community, recycling more, taking photos of yourself picking up trash and posting it on hashtag PAW on social media websites with hashtag PAW and hashtag clean, safe, beautiful.
What you can do to help is picking up trash on your walks and jogs, recycling when necessary, spreading the word using social media at hashtag PAW or hashtag clean, safe, beautiful, and just remember, picking up one piece of trash, it makes a big difference. I will be saying pictures and quotes. The quotes that I will read are picked by our team, but these two stick out to me the most. The first is by Bill Nye. To leave the world better than you found it, it is sometimes you have to pick up other people's trash. The second quote is, go green, there is no planet B.
I will be leading the PAW pledge. Raise your right hand and repeat after me. I pledge.
I pledge
To reduce the amount of pollution around the community.
To reduce the amount of pollution around the community.
And help keep my community clean, safe, and beautiful.
And help keep my community clean, safe, and beautiful.
I will stop polluting the earth.
I will stop polluting the earth.
And work to put trash.
And work to put trash.
And recycling.
And recycling.
In closed receptacles.
In closed receptacles.
Thank you for listening to what we had to say. I hope you will help us decrease the amount of pollution in the community and keep looking for social media posts. Is there any questions?
I have a question. This is awesome, so we're really proud of you for leading our community on an anti-littering campaign, because it really is important to keep our community clean, safe, and beautiful. But how did you come up with this idea? Why is this important to you?
So, before we actually started with the global community problem solving, we went over all the things that our community needed, and we found out which one was the most cost efficient and took the least time, but also had a really big improvement. And we found out that pollution is really, it's not easy to take care of, but it's easy to just go around and pick up trash and make sure that you're doing the right things to help keep our environment clean.
Great. And that is something that we all can do, and honestly, it doesn't cost anything, just a little bit of effort. It's a fantastic idea. I'm really proud of you guys. Aren't they awesome? I would like to make a presentation to your class, and this is a recognition award. This certifies that the 2021 class, known as the Madison Junior High School Community Future Problem Solvers, have presented plans to actively improve our community to the Common Council of the City of Madison on April 6, 2021 in the City of Madison with their official, Mayor Courtney. In honor of your hard work and your importance to the future of Madison, we recognize you today. So thank you guys so much, and I know that our future is in good hands because you're here today leading us that way. So congratulations. Thank you for all your work. So. Mr. Mahoney, thank you so much for bringing your class here today. And do you have any questions of anybody here at council or with the mayor's office? We're happy to answer those too before you leave. Any questions? Thank you guys. Good job. Wasn't that fantastic? Yes. It was. Council, we have one resolution on, one bill. We'll move on with the agenda here, but we have one ordinance on first reading. And what's that ordinance number, clerk? What's the number? Number 4. And I'll read the ordinance and then we'll let the sponsor talk about, just to give us a little bit of a segue into what we'll be talking about the next couple of weeks. You got it? Okay, there we go. We are absent an attorney here tonight. so I'm filling in for him. Ordinance number 2021-4, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, amending the City Code on Golf Carts, Chapter 70, Section 70.04. Whereas on August the 18th, 2009, the Common Council of the City of Madison passed an ordinance that allowed the use of golf carts on city streets. Whereas on August 6, 2020, the Board of Commissioners of Jefferson County, Indiana, passed a county-wide ordinance permitting golf carts on county-owned roadways. Whereas the City of Madison desires to allow golf carts to safely traverse from the Madison Hilltop to downtown Madison. Whereas Common Council of the City of Madison desires to amend Chapter 70, Section 70.04, Paragraph C of the City of Madison Code of Ordinance to read as follows. 70.04C, golf carts may not be operated on state roads 56, 62, or 7, U.S. Highway 421, Main Street in downtown Madison, running from the intersection of Jefferson Street to the top of Hanover Hill, where the road reconnects with State Road 56 or any federal highway at any time. Golf carts may cross Clifty Drive at the intersections of Wilson Avenue and Craigmont Streets. Golf carts may cross Main Street only at intersections controlled by automatic stoplights, except for a right angle crossing between Walnut Street and Allenback Avenue and Orchard Street across Green Road. Whereas the Common Council of the City of Madison desires to amend Chapter 70, Section 70.04, Paragraph M of the City of Madison Code of Ordinances to read as follows. Beginning January 1st, 2010, all golf carts operated on the streets of the City of Madison shall be registered with the City of Madison and bear a registration sticker. The city shall collect a fee for said registration, which shall be set from time to time by the Board of Public Works and Safety. The City of Madison will provide a copy of the golf cart rules and regulations to the golf cart owners at the time the annual permit is issued. Whereas Common Council of the City of Madison desires to amend Section 70.04, Paragraph I of the City of Madison Code to read as follows. The number of occupants in a golf cart shall be limited to the number of persons for whom factory seating is installed and provided on the golf cart. All small children who require safety seats as required by vehicular laws shall be safely restrained while riding in the golf cart. Now therefore be it ordained by the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, that Chapter 70, Sections 70.04, Paragraphs C, M, and I of the City of Madison Code of Ordinances be and hereby is amended as above written. The ordinance shall become effectively upon its adoption by the Common Council, signature of the mayor, enrollment in the Book of Ordinances, and publication of notice as required by law. Any ordinance in conflict with this ordinance is hereby repealed. The foregoing ordinance was passed and adopted by the council at a future meeting. Obviously, this is the first reading. Councilman Chatham, you're the sponsor. Any remarks?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. So the intent behind this was to bring some safety to the ever-growing population of golf carts that are using that as their mode of transportation through our community. And it was really an opportunity to connect the county north of Clifty Drive with the City of Madison. So it would allow them to cross Clifty Drive at those designated areas and safely get downtown to, partake in any of our festivals or events, shopping, restaurants, any of that kind of thing. So really the intent was to bring some safety aspects into this. So that's where where we addressed passengers and kids riding in there, the safe number for what was installed. Hopefully we don't see any more parents holding kids while they're driving their golf carts as they're navigating through the community. So the intent was really to connect the county and city with the ever-growing population there. And I found out today that actually the town of Hanover now has a golf cart and side-by-side ordinance. So maybe in the future the county can figure out a way to connect everybody together.
Gotcha. Okay. Thank you. So that's first reading. That'll move to second reading at the next meeting. Are there any reports, recommendations, and other business from standing or select committees of City Council?
No.
Okay. We have 2 Riverfront Alcohol Permit recommendations for Rivertown Grill and Crafted Coffee. Madam President, I'll turn it over to you to lead this part of the discussion.
Sorry, mine is the one causing the issue.
There you go.
You just wanted a brief overview of what the Riverfront Development liquor licenses were intended to do. So when fellow city councilman David Alcorn and myself met, when we approached this, we were looking at this as an exciting economic development opportunity for our community. And thus far, it's had a few little bumps and we were working a few things out, but thus far I think it's providing great opportunities within our community. And Red on Main is a prime example of a thriving business that is utilizing it at this time.
Matt?
Yes, good evening, council. Thank you, Katie, for that introduction. As you're aware, council, the intent, as Katie referenced, was to spur economic development in our downtown along primarily our riverfront, within proximity to the river as defined in the regulations. And I just wanted to reiterate, per Governor Holcomb's executive order last year, due to the pandemic, our food requirements are $66,600 a year, per year for an applicant to meet within the first 12 months of operation. So those were lowered a little bit, but not to be forgotten, that quickly jumps to $100,000 the second year and $125,000 for the third year. So these folks are aware of that and are in it for the long haul and are committed to making a difference in downtown Madison through restaurants, food sales, and food sales enhanced by the liquor license. So to make the dining experience full circle. So with that, our review committee met back on, I believe you've got all this in your packet, met back on March 15th. And just a quick refresher, those committee members are Dan Hughes, representing the Madison Redevelopment Commission, Austin Sims, representing the Madison Main Street Program, and Emily Roberts, representing the Madison Area Chamber of Commerce. I believe Emily is here tonight in the audience as well. And I staffed the meeting that day. So what I'd like to do, I provided a summary of some of the bullet points for each of the applicants that day for you to review, but I thought it was important to have them here tonight as well to answer any questions, concerns, comments that you may have regarding the process and what their intent is in opening their restaurants, not only opening it, but then applying for the liquor license. So our first applicant up tonight is Mr. Joe Breek from Rivertown Grill, and I'd be glad to turn that over to Mr. Breek to answer any questions or concerns you've got. I believe I also included their applications in your packet as well. So, Madam President, if that's okay.
Absolutely. And Mr. Breek, if you would please provide an overview of what you think that this Riverfront Development liquor license will mean to your business, that'd be great.
We've been in business since February 1st, was our grand opening day. And my main intent to bring Rivertown to Madison was strictly for the food. However, I'm learning that the alcohol is an additive to that. So, you know, with the alcohol, it's going to generate more food sales. I'm looking adding 30–35% just more food sales by having alcohol alone, not counting the actual gross income from the alcohol. So I'm looking to have the alcohol added to Rivertown to bring forth more customers in for the food and for the dining experience.
Thank you.
Council, any additional questions for Mr. Breek?
Thank you for choosing Madison to open up your restaurant, and appreciate your investment.
Thank you.
I move to approve.
Oh, go ahead and make your motion, we'll do these separately, is that what you wanna do? Okay,
Yes.
go ahead.
I move to approve the Riverfront liquor license for Mr. Breek's business, the Rivertown Grill.
I'll second.
Any additional discussion? Are there any comments from anyone in the audience with regard to this application for a Riverfront Development liquor license? Hearing none?
I'll vote. Dan Dattilo,
Yes.
Bartlett,
Yes.
Rampy,
Yes.
Chatham. Yes. Creech,
Yes.
Lucy Dattilo,
Yes.
Kavanaugh.
Yes.
Fantastic. Thank you very much. Thank you, Mr. Rick.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much. Yeah. Not sure what's going on with their sound today, but
Okay. Council, next we have very similar process, as I said, back on the 15th, we met and also reviewed, our committee reviewed the Crafton Brothers Coffee. That is an existing building now, obviously an existing business, and but they would like to enhance that experience for their patrons and diners. So with us tonight are both Mr. Trevor Crafton and Jason Madison to answer any questions you would have. I believe you have the same application, similar summary in your packets, but thought best to have them here in person to answer any questions or concerns you may have. So I'd like to turn that over to both these gentlemen at the moment.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Roy.
Thank you all.
And Mr. Crafton, if you would please explain what you think that this Riverfront Development liquor license would mean to your business as well, that would be much appreciated.
Well, when we talk to visitors and we talk to, local people, we see that where we're strategically located there on Broadway in Maine is one of the main arteries going down to the river, and there's a lot of traffic, in that corridor. We're moving our outdoor seating around to the Broadway side, so we can have both of those sides, Main and Broadway. And whenever we go out in other communities and kind of do our due diligence of trying other coffees or cafes or brunch places, you're starting to see a trend over the last couple of years of mimosas and Baileys and espressos, and you're starting to see, Bloody Marys and charcuterie boards and different things like that. And we just felt like that was a need here, and I think we've kind of established who we are, and we're very intentional about having breakfast all day. We're very intentional about bringing in Lady Katie Lockridge to come in and make all of her stuff from scratch, hence the crafted aspect of it, and biscuits and gravy on the weekend. So there's a lot of complimentary things that we'll have. Knowing it's going into spring and summer, we just feel like the timing going in here to 2021 is pretty solid with having those mimosas or Baileys or bourbons. We want to keep everything tight. We talk a lot about KISS, keep it simple, stupid, and we're not trying to be something that we're not. And we certainly want, the few bourbons, we want the few beers, the few wines to be a small selection. And our hours of operation will increase maybe an hour on obviously festivals, an hour and a half, 2 hours, but we're not the place that you're gonna hang out at 10, 11, 12 at night. We're very family friendly. We're gonna absolutely keep that family friendly type of scenario. And I'm a father, and I like to have a beer, and I like to have a mimosa from time to time, and my kids can enjoy all kinds of different things that we have to offer. So that's kind of our thought process behind that.
Thank you.
Do you guys serve food during the full hours of operation?
Yes. We need to stop by. It's awesome.
Especially Saturday and Sunday mornings.
I know you do. I know you.
I would move that we approve the application from Crafted Coffee as presented.
I would second that.
council, any additional discussion? Anyone from the audience? Roll call.
Creech,
Yes.
Kavanaugh? Yes.
Rampy,
Yes.
Lucy Dattilo,
Yes.
Dan Dattilo,
Yes.
Chatham,
Yes.
Bartlett.
Yes.
Motion carries, thank you. Just an FYI, so the next step is from the mayor's office and Councilman Rampy, you'll have a letter of support from us that will go with your application to the state and to the local alcoholic beverage committee.
Thank you.
We'll get that to you in a couple days.
I'd like to just ask you, man, I think Joe, did Joe leave?
Yeah.
Do you know if, and not so much Trevor, but although could be wrong, what are they have any kind of plans to be part of this Madison music movement, especially down at Rivertown Grill? I know he's got that. He's kind of set up for it with that bar next door.
Yeah, Rick, I don't think initially he discussed becoming part of that, but he has discussed, if granted the license of almost a separate, restaurant and bar on the other side with entertainment. So I could see that definitely happening, yes.
Joe has a background in music too. He's
Yeah.
played in a couple of local bands and I
So-
think is still active. So I'm sure
I-
anything on the music side,
I
he's
think
going
he
to
would be
partake in.
certainly welcoming to that idea, so.
I just think that would cover a couple blocks from
It would.
right here.
Question.
Yeah.
Anything else for us, council?
Nope.
Thank you.
Trevor and Jason, thank you both. And I know Van's not here, but thanks again for investing in our community.
Thank you.
Thank you all for supporting our business. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Ben.
So let's move on to reports of city officials. So we'll start the process this month with Madison Police Department Chief John Wallace.
Good evening, council. Actually, I came alone this time, so hopefully I'll get out of
No
your-
backup.
Several things at the PD. Officer Nicole Midget graduates from the academy this Thursday. She'll be back to join us. Everything has gone very well for her. She'll be back and do her field training process. I think with the experiences that she's already had, I anticipate that not being too in depth. I think she'll be ready to go fairly quickly. So I think that'd get her back. Our two new additions, Graham Heffelfinger and Kayla Taylor Moore, joined us this Monday. They're going to experience a 40-hour pre-basic, taking care of all the necessary paperwork, and they are scheduled to go to the academy on June 5. We hope, once we get through the 40-hour pre-basic, get them in uniform, that you'll be seeing them a lot out on our bikes and our golf carts and on foot patrol. Speaking of which, we have started that. We did have Officer Perry out Sunday on the golf cart. Very nice day and very well received. He was into that Easter candy and makes it feel good to see the officers in a little bit of a different light other than sometimes the negativity. So it's a great program, and we're going to make sure that that gets taken care of throughout the warm weather months. Our first sexual predator who took it to trial obviously lost. He will be sentenced this coming Friday. A lot of hard work, a lot of effort has been put into this program, and it's I think it's be paying dividends. Don't necessarily take joy in seeing people go to prison, but in these particular cases, I think it's well deserved. Anytime we can get these people off our streets and away from our kids, that's where they need to be. So we're seeing the fruit of the labor, I think, coming to the forefront now from all the hard work of that program. We've been hitting drugs hard. I'm sure you've read about it in the paper. We did make several arrests last week. One Friday in which we were able to seize 86 grams of approximately 86 grams of methamphetamine in one particular investigation. Very proud of the extremely hard work the officers are doing. To put that in street value, it's about $100 a gram, so that's about $8,600 worth of street value drug that's been taken off our streets and not going to go to any of our abusers or users here. So we're very thankful for that hard work. We also did confiscate that firearm and other drugs in that particular seizure. So it's paying off. The hard work's paying off, and hopefully again we'll see other crimes decrease as we continue to hit the narcotics hard. And I'll stop with this. We're going to bring back one of our old programs. It's a firearm training program for the citizens. I think they've done that years back. We have 2 certified, Academy certified firearms instructors that will be taking applications from anybody in the community that may want to train with their firearm. It will actually include classroom time and time at the firing range. There's no cost to the city. They provide their own ammunition. There will be a $75 fee to take this program, and that money can be used in our firearms to purchase ammunition or targets or whatever it may be. So I think it's just a win for everybody involved. We'll get that rolling, and hopefully we'll have 4 or 5 different sessions throughout the summer months. I'll double check our insurance. I know in the past it was cleared by our insurance provider to hold this, and then I know the city attorney also signed off on it as well, but we'll get that verification, but look forward to getting that program started again. And I think it's much needed. I mean, people ask about it quite often, and the safer people are getting guns, and they're going to get guns. So the safer we can make it for them, safer for the community as well. So we'll get that program started.
So are applications available now for that or not?
Not yet, sir. We will be making them available very shortly, and we'll advertise that.
Will you be able to have a women's only class? Is that something you can do?
Yeah, we can do that.
Pursue that?
Sure, absolutely.
I know my wife attended one with me and was uncomfortable because it was mostly men at that class. So
well, you kind of tell her how to do
well, everything I taught her was wrong according to those guys. So,
no, that's a good idea. You know, and you know, ladies may feel, uncomfortable or maybe a little intimidated there if, the guys already have a hand up or step up on how to handle them, so that may not be a bad idea. We'll certainly look into this.
And is there an anonymous tip line that people can report things to?
Yes.
What was the number for that?
Yes, 812-265-2121. That actually is monitored by myself. I'm the only one that can actually get on it to receive the tips and information. And what I do from that point is disseminate them to either my detectives, to the county, or to the town of Hanover, or wherever they need to go. It's mostly for narcotics, but obviously, any kind of tip, if it's involved in a crime, we'll be glad to look into it.
Okay. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you,
while Chief Wallace was there, he mentioned the drug arrests and the ongoing investigations. I don't know if you saw this article, and Mark is here too with regards to the Madison Courier, but our public safety team in Madison is exceptional, not just in Madison, but all across the county. And so at the top and the bottom of the fold here, articles about local firefighters having a busy weekend, all volunteer firefighting crew, putting out multiple fires. Down here, we've got the ongoing a traffic stop, for example, that led into an investigation of multiple drug and weapon charges. So our public safety team in Madison and across Jefferson County are just exceptional, and we're very proud of them. So Chief Wallace, keep up the good work, you and your men. You and your officers. Sorry, you and your officers. All right, I'd like to invite our Deputy Mayor, Minnie McGee, to give an update on some fascinating things happening around town. No talking trash.
We're not talking trash tonight.
What kind of story?
Good evening, Council. You have a hard copy of my report that I gave you right before the meeting started. It's a long one. I will try not to read everything word for word, but I'm happy to take questions at any point. You have any as they come up. I'll start with streets, a streets update. Last week, the mayor and Nicole Shell and our street superintendent, Tony Sorrells, met with NDOT. We went through a sort of a punch list of things that we've been, had in our queue to question and find out about and clarify. So they were very patient. They were great to come down. We had 3 NDOT representatives, our regional folks that came down. So main thing, most important, is that trash can at the bridge is gone in front of our Madison sign. So they were as perplexed about that as we were. So that's been taken care of and taken care of very quickly. We are working on a communication plan for final stages of the bridge approach project on the east end. They'll be back, Beatty will be back end of April to finish up the milling and paving. They'll put signage out for parking to make sure people get their cars removed in order for them to do that. but we would like to put a communication plan together so that citizens understand what the final phase is gonna consist of, what it's gonna look like. There are some lane changes, that will happen as part of that project, just narrowing the traffic flow, slowing it down a little bit, coming off the bridge up onto Main Street, which I think is a good thing. They're going to put some not barriers, the parking will still be in place, but before you get to the driving lane, they're going to put the crosshatch, so there'll be a little bit of at least a visual barrier between the cars coming down the street and the parked vehicles. I know that's been an issue in the past where parked vehicles have been hit. So hopefully that will work, but we'll get some drawings out and put a communication plans together so that everybody understands what's happening. Golf cart, you guys just talked about golf cart crossing. I don't think I have to go into that too much. Hanging Rock Hill, we discussed the weight limit and rerouting truck traffic so that they aren't sent that way through their GPS devices. And they have agreed to improve signage and change some of that to local traffic only, and the reduced ton limit to 10, which is what we have there. 421 in Main Street, there has been a block drain down there. We talked to them about clearing it. Our street department went and tried to work on it, but didn't get it all cleared. It's their drain, so we have put in a request that they go take a look at that, try to get it cleared out so it doesn't back up. And we've had some traffic light issues. We have a reporting system that we turn that stuff into. They get on it right away. So there's a couple of, if you see any traffic light issues or something like that, let us know. We'll get it turned in right away. But they do respond very quickly to those types of issues. And then we did discuss some permit exceptions from them, just for grass cutting and things that we would like to maintain a little more frequently than they do. So the bridge approach area, the welcome center, the roundabout, there's various places where we would like to work in their right of ways, but we need their permission to do it. So we're working on those as well. Moving on to CCMG from spring last year, that project is completely done now. All-Star Paving was able to get in on Baltimore Street and repave that. They had already done the sidewalk work, so we are just waiting on the final bill from them on that. We are under budget on that, even though we included the 8th Street sidewalk project, so all good news there. On the 8th Street sidewalk, Mayor Courtney and I went to Mr. Fagan's 8th grade art class this week and met with the students. The mayor explained the importance of the project and their involvement in it, and it's the first kind of collaboration really that we have. They're only going to be the second public art installation on the hilltop, so just to help them understand that it really is kind of a big deal what they're doing. And we got to see preview some of their artwork. Each student drew what would be the art that they would suggest. We actually get to pick 2. It's going to be a 2-sided thing, so that was fun, and lots of great art coming out of that class. So Mr. Fagan's got a great class going there. DOC crews, we had them back briefly for about 3 weeks, I think, and they've been pulled back as of yesterday morning. So we don't know when we're going to get them back. If we get them back, they've had some COVID issues, I guess. And we have reached out to the Jefferson County Sheriff's Department. We partnered with them last fall on leaf pickup because we were in the same situation, and they are checking to see if they have inmates that would qualify to participate in that, and if they have officers willing to work on their time off, we would pay the officers for supervising those crews. So more to come on that. Hopefully we will be able to partner with them again, and it'll be beneficial for everyone involved. That would certainly help out our street department as we get into grass cutting season. It's always some kind of season. Public landscaping, just wanted to mention that we have developed a plan for the landscape beds between Jefferson and Broadway, and those will be planted at the end of April, 1st of May, when we're safely past first frost. So I did want to just mention for store owners on Main Street, and we're working with the Main Street program to help deliver this message as well. but we would like them not to plant. Sometimes the store owners wanna go out and plant their own thing in there. We have them coordinated and, would like that uniform look, so we're asking the store owners to hold off on planting anything in there. But if they have planted in the past, or there's something sentimental or important in there that belongs to them, please go ahead and remove it and keep that, but we will be replanting those, soon. Sorry, lost my place there. Hanging baskets, those will go up around the same time frame, and I talked to the grower of those. They've been growing all winter, so they should be in really good shape. When they put them up, they should look, not like new plants. They'll be very nice. I gave you copies of the current fund and appropriation reports. Please just let me know, email me if you have any questions about any of that. As we are just finished in the end of first quarter, you'll see most line items are well within that 75% plus range where we would expect them to be after first quarter, that we'd have about 75% of the budget run. So that is looking good. And then we have not yet to receive our first tax distribution. That'll happen probably end of June. So remember, as you're looking at the fund report, those balances are gonna go up pretty significantly after that happens. Madison Regatta, and I'm sorry, a lot of this you probably read in the paper yesterday because I updated Board of Public Works on a lot of this as well. But the regatta, we expect the regatta to make an announcement later this week, but we do intend to support the regatta this year to the amount of $50,000, and that will be a match with the tourism board that has committed to do the same thing. We think it's an important thing to do and an important year to do that. We want to make sure that it goes off, and especially because we had to cancel last year. So, and last note is through the American Rescue Plan Act funding, Madison is scheduled to receive about $2.5 million from that disbursement. We'll get it in 2 different distributions, one this year, one next. The county will receive around $6 million, and Hanover, I think, is set to receive around $750,000. So all told, it's almost a $10 million investment in our county. So we'll be looking for opportunities to partner with those entities and try to leverage those funds. We're still waiting for details on requirements for use and qualifications and all of that, but so more to come on that as well. But all good news.
Maybe probably at the next council meeting, we'll start the process to create the fund to receive those monies.
I have a question.
Yes.
Can you talk about the golf cart crossing at 421 on the?
Sure. Sure.
Do you think that's safe?
Do I think it's safe? I think it's happening now, so it will be safer.
I'd like to table the discussion on that until we get to the actual ordinance, if you don't mind. The second reading of the ordinance will be in 2 weeks.
That's why.
Excuse me?
It was in her report,
yes.
That's why.
Yeah, and I'll tell you, but that was our discussion with INDOT as well. They are not opposed to it. They've already put up signage for that it will be a crossing. And they have agreed, once the weather is warm consistently, that they'll go in and put rumble strips and move back the deceleration signage. So they're gonna push back that 45-mile-an-hour zone. I don't think many people observe it now anyway. So backing it up as you get closer to that corner is a very good idea. So that's what we discussed with them in regards to that.
Thank you.
And I'll just add that it's been a crossing for 5 years, no accidents.
We did discuss other options too that they didn't want to do, traffic lights, roundabouts, and all kinds of wonderful things.
With the changes to the signage and everything, are they gonna put any kind of flashing lights or anything further back up?
I can't remember if they said
There's already a yellow light back there, and they're gonna, again, change the deceleration zone and put more rumble strips there.
Okay.
So
no new lights or
they're very particular about what they're gonna put on the state highway, so no. It's what's there, plus the signage and new rumble strips. Yeah.
They are gonna do, I believe, some lighting upgrades for crosswalks on the bridge approach section. Those crosswalks will go back where they are, but they are gonna upgrade those. But on that one in particular, I'm not sure I remember payment for that. Anything else for me? Thank you.
We do not have any bills on third reading. We do have a bill on second reading, sponsored by Councilwoman Dattilo. This is ordinance number 2021-3, an ordinance of the Common Council of the City of Madison, Indiana, vacating certain alleys in the City of Madison, Indiana. So we'll open that up for discussion as it's second reading.
Go ahead.
Oh, sure. Introduce yourself.
Good evening. I'm not getting to public speaking, so my voice shakes. That's why that is. I'd like to suggest a tweak.
State your name and where you live.
Oh, I'm sorry. Rick Brody. And I live up on Telegraph Hill. A tweak to the ordinance. So the tack factory is being converted into an apartment complex. There are 50 apartments. And it was approved with 38 parking spots. So the tweak I'd like to suggest, I think, is a win-win-win for the people involved. There are currently 9 parallel parking spots along West First Street on the south side. If the city could maintain either an easement or right-of-way or something to potentially expand those into angled parking, so instead of 9, you might get 17. That is the shaking of my voice coming through. The thought is that the city there's no commitment, no request to build anything at this point. All you're doing basically maintaining an option to access that property, and if there is a parking problem in the area, that you can then convert those spots from parallel to angled in. That would provide more parking for the apartment building, and provide parking for the Heritage Trail, which I don't think has any parking at this point. Neighbors in the area, if there's a parking problem, they would be suffering, so I just see it as a win-win-win, and all we're saying is you're maintaining the right to do something, not actually saying you have to commit any funds, and budget information, budget amounts, or anything else. So,
Rick, I might ask you to just restate that again, because the alleys, and I wish.
So the alleys are in the middle of the Heritage Park Trail. This would be the same parcel of land, but it's on the northern edge of it that meets up on First Street.
Okay. You're saying part of it. Are you saying don't vacate the entire alley?
I'm saying in exchange for vacating the alley, maintain either an expanded easement or a right-of-way. I'm not sure exactly what would work best. So I haven't talked to the lawyers. Okay. What would work best if the city decided, or if it became apparent that there was a parking problem, we wanted to expand parking. It would seem if you took those parallel spots, parallel parking, and you made them angled in, you might need another 4 feet, 5 feet along the roadway. And all I'm saying is just in exchange for vacating the alley, you expand the easement off of First Street. Does that make sense? I don't see it costing the city anything at this point, and it gives you basically a problem-solving solution if there is a problem down the road.
Have you discussed this with Bob, perchance?
I haven't seen Bob lately.
Okay, I was just curious. I mean, he's not here tonight, so that would have been a good opportunity to. So I would ask maybe Councilman Dattilo if you could work with Rick and Bob on reconciling what this is as it relates to the alley vacation and parking, because the parking was approved by zoning. Is my only issue with your request. So to a certain extent, we'd be trying to modify a parking approval for the apartments.
That parking would be on city streets though, so it would be our prerogative.
Well, but you're saying it's on their property, but it's part of our right of way? It's not, it doesn't sound to me like it's on the city street, it's actually on, it's on property that Heritage Trail owns.
It is First Street. It is the south side of First Street, so it's not even on the apartment side. Why they included those 9 spots as part of the 38 because it doesn't join their property. It's on the south side of First Street. So it
Well,
actually
it's happened, I mean, it's not uncommon, frankly, to include off-street parking and a parking requirement if the board chooses to make that exception. And they made that exception because it's a senior property which generally has a lesser driving population. That's why I'm just trying to tell you why that was made, but it's not that uncommon. So if maybe you guys could reconcile what the request is, because I'm really still not following it.
So, no, I'll explain some
Yeah,
more then.
okay.
So really, there are 9 spots, 9 parallel parking spots that have been created within the last year that are on the south side of West First Street.
Okay, gotcha. Behind the River Terrace, or River Towers Apartments.
Yes.
Okay.
And that property that those 9 spots are on adjoins the Heritage Trail property, which is asking for the two alleys, which were probably never developed, the right-of-ways to be vacated.
Right.
So all I'm saying is that we still have a potential parking problem in the area, and this would be a potential solution to that parking problem. I'm not asking for any funds, I'm not asking for you to commit to anything. All I'm saying is the city could maintain an easement in that area that would allow them to expand parking options if a parking problem develops.
Okay, thank you. Thanks for clarifying that, Rick, I appreciate it.
I think it's a really good idea.
What do you talk about that?
Yeah, I can talk
Thank you.
to Bob about it. Should we table this?
Well, this is, we're not
Or is
making a
it
decision
separate?
tonight, it's
Maybe
just a discussion, so this is
separate.
really great that we're receiving this input.
Yeah.
And this is actually would be separate, right, Rick?
Yeah.
So you.
I'll leave it up to you guys how it actually happens, whether it's.
The vacation would still go forward, we're just looking at other options, and that's what you're asking, right?
You were talking about vacating right-of-ways within that property, and this just
Right.
seemed like
Perhaps.
giving something up, sort of tit for tat.
And it seems like it would go hand in hand to me. In exchange for vacating these alleys, potentially we would receive an expanded right-of-way on the north side of the.
And it's city parking, so I mean,
Yeah.
certainly
Yeah.
anyone visiting the Heritage Trail would be able to use one of those spots if they're open.
Yeah, I haven't seen a survey, so I'm just trying to visualize exactly what we're talking about. That's it.
And it would depend on what our existing right-of-way is. It extends further onto the property beyond where the curb exists now, or whatever that is.
I don't know, I mean, it really, they expanded the street to add parking, so.
Hey, Rick, how many spots would that add? You got double it?
Well, I don't think you get a double because of the ends.
Okay.
But I mean, there are 9 spots there now. I'm guessing you get at least 7, maybe 8 more. It kind of depends on how steep the angle is too going in as to how deep they're cutting in. I'm not a travel guy. I create more traffic problems than I solve. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Rick.
I think the way we're gonna have to handle this then is not move this bill to third reading, because the third reading is gonna be up or down. I would entertain a motion to table this for additional investigation.
I would like to make a motion to table ordinance 2021-3 until further investigation on how to best use that property.
I'll second that.
Okay. Any additional discussion? Anyone from the audience? Okay, all in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thank you. Thanks for coming, sir. Anybody here, anyone else in the audience who would like to address City Council or Mayor's office? Any miscellaneous items council would like to bring up?
I've got a quick question. Is there any progress on the hearing regarding Tammy Hackenheimer's appointment to the Board of Tourism?
Since council's not here, I would ask you to follow up with him. Yes, sir.
Yeah, Rick Roos, 1421 Cherokee Court. Just a question of curiosity as far as liquor licenses. How many have been issued since that new ordinance took place?
3.
3.
There's 5 available, so there was 3 issued.
So you're
This
still,
would be the last 2, right?
3 issued,
This
1
would be the last
returned,
two.
1's been returned.
so you're still playing with 5 liquor licenses?
Yes.
Okay. Okay, thank you.
Thank you. Got a few things to update you on. Earlier today, we had a redevelopment commission meeting where redevelopment commission entered into a contract for a citywide sidewalk survey. The goal of that survey, as we've talked about before, really is there's several things there. One is to do a complete inventory of all the sidewalks in the city of Madison and begin applying a rating to them, similar to how we rate our streets. So we can really identify and target those sidewalks that need repair or replacement and what condition they're in, as well as expand the scope of that to identify potentially the investment and creation of new sidewalks because of change in pedestrian patterns. The scope of that contract will also update our ADA plan. So it's a really good and important contract, but the real purpose of it is to help us budget for our future sidewalk replacement, repair, and installation over the course of the next 2.5 years. At Board of Public Works yesterday, we took under consideration a proposal from American Queen, who operates steamboats up and down the river. They've already provided us a schedule of dates in which they'll port in Madison. There are 34 dates. So that, in conjunction with a lot of other activity from event organizers, it looks like we are, planning for a really robust return of our tourism season. Quite a few event organizers have already applied for street closure permits. So it's great to see a lot of that occurring. And in today's paper, you'll also see a notice for request for proposals. We are updating our historic district survey. That's something that we talked about doing probably a year and a half ago. Hasn't been done in probably a decade or longer. It's really important for the planning from our historic district, board of review, and for city planning purposes. So that RFP is out. And then once we choose a provider, both that and the sidewalk survey, over the course of the next couple of months, we'll get that information in. All of this is about our focus on planning and where we should be prioritizing our investment. Earlier today, you saw Mr. Mahoney's class talk about Earth Day and Pollution Awareness Week. Timing couldn't have been better because one of the things I want to mention tonight was about, really focusing on anti-littering. We are having problems all over the city with litter. Yesterday, I made an appeal to our local businesses where we have trash receptacles on Main Street. Over the course of a weekend, a business could be really busy and there's a lot of trash that's emptied and the trash receptacles are starting to overflow. We have added a street crew to come down on Saturdays to empty the trash cans, but we would ask any business that has a receptacle on the sidewalk to help us, keep the sidewalks clean. If they see an overflowing trash can, please empty the trash. That would be great. Helps the entire community. Lastly, one other thing before I get into my final comment is Governor Holcomb's current executive order that begins today extended the public health emergency until the end of April, but also rescinded the prior executive order that placed all of the mandates as restrictions, and now those restrictions such as gathering sizes and the wearing of face coverings have become advisory elements of his current executive order. You might have seen today the city in conjunction in a joint statement with Jefferson County and the town of Hanover. We issued a joint statement indicating that we were not going to impose any restrictions beyond that of the executive order. Jefferson County Health Department did something very similar. We continue to remind the community that it's important to follow protocols. It's also very important to take advantage of our free COVID testing across the community, as well as free vaccination. So beginning on March the 31st, any person 16 years or older in Jefferson County, or really any place you live, are eligible for vaccination. So one of the things we want to continue to encourage is testing and vaccination, and particularly as we enter into our festival season, a lot of outdoor activities. We want to make sure that everybody is responsible, acts responsibly, particularly for their own health, and follows safety protocols, as well as taking advantage of all the free services that are available across the community. Lastly, I'll mention that on Thursday, I'll be delivering here in these chambers a State of the City address, talking about a year in review, and also what to expect for really the balance of 2021 and plans we're making for the next 3 to 5 years. So hopefully you guys will have an opportunity to come. It's open to the public as well. There is a registration process, so we can manage the amount capacity here in council chambers, but there's gonna be lots to talk about on Thursday. So that's all I have. I'll be happy to answer your questions from anybody in the audience as well as council. Or if you guys have anything else to add, our next meeting is on April 20th.
Another quick thought, and this came from Mr. Mahoney's class's presentation. The city's thoughts be on offering a spring cleaning pickup day for trash, just to help people get stuff out of their yards or houses or wherever people don't ever come around to get pickup bags.
I think it's a good idea. We did a lot of that last year during COVID, when everybody had the stay-at-home orders, and they cleaned out their garages and threw tons and tons. I think that our rate with Rumpke, we removed over 8,000 tons of trash and over 1 million pounds of recyclables out of the community in 2020. So a lot of that happened last year. We'll certainly mention it to our street department, see if we want to do it with 2021. It's a good suggestion. Yes. Oh.
I just know that we talked about that last year for, I think excuse me, in the past it was called Operation Big Broom, was what the city used to provide. And I think the issue was not having the DOC and the additional manpower was why we couldn't pull it off last year. So I don't know what that'll, now that the DOC's back in quarantine, I don't know what that'll do for this year, but that was actually something we had discussed last year and weren't able to pull it off.
It might be something we can coordinate if we get the right amount of resources. It's a good idea. Anything else? Council? Dan, how's the sun down there on that end?
It's great. I should be nice and
There's a
golden
big halo
brown
around
by
your
the
head
end of
right
the
now.
night. It's actually reflecting off the window of the building next door and hitting me in the face.
You're right when he said that.
Yeah.
It's Shipley's calling me.
Yeah, right. Well, it could be that too.
I won't actually. Rick Roos, 1421 Cherokee Court. Why not have a moratorium on burning stuff in the city, and rather than haul crap away, just burn it? You know, like we used to. I mean, you know, in the fall, the semi-trailer truck is burning gas or whatever, and then they've got the mulcher that's burning whatever, spitting out whatever. I'm just sitting there going, it used to smell good burning leaves in the fall, but I'm sitting there going, okay, that many tons of trash, some of that could have been burnt, to me. So.
Thank you, Rick. Appreciate it. We'll bring that up with our fire chief, DeVries. Any additional comments or questions? Is there an emotion for a motion up there?
Motion to adjourn, please.
All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
All opposed? Thanks, everyone. Thank you.
Good.
Did you watch Baylor? Did you watch the game last night?
Cincinnati here, I was there.
Oh, yeah.
My grandson's son.